This week on the Harris Highlights podcast, a Christian McCaffrey stat that even Ryan Lochte won't believe, the top uniforms from this past week, and our picks for the games of this upcoming week. All this and more coming up on the Harris Highlights podcast.
Coming to you live from the PBS Sound Studio at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communications in downtown Phoenix, this is the Harris Highlights Podcast, Episode 2. Joining me this evening are the same good old rascals as last week. We got Josh, Brady, Spencer, and Lyle, and as always, I'm your host, Harris Highlights. But you guys can call me Blake. Gentlemen,
Oh, so kind of you.
Gentlemen, I ask this every week, and I'll ask it again. How are we doing?
I'm doing well, Blake,
I'm
a.k.a. Harris Highlights.
feeling great about a great week of college football.
I'm just ready to get this party started.
Every day here at ASU is a great day.
Now, gentlemen, I do have to start the show off with some sad news.
Oh.
This past Saturday, something tragic happened. ASU suffered their first loss. But our national title hopes are not shattered because the rest of the season we're going to go undefeated
Psych.
and we're going to come for Bama. Am I
right? I like the sound of that.
Oh, as do I. But speaking of Bama, as always, they are ranked number 1 in the top 25.
As always.
As always, I mean, I don't remember the last time they weren't ranked number 1. But I'm just going to start off mentioning this. That is not a typo. Josh, I was not working on this at 3 a.m. last night. This is all accurate. What does number 5 say on my paper right here?
Number 5 is 5-0 UW.
The Washington Huskies, ranked number 5. Now, I know you're one of their biggest fans. If not the biggest fan of Washington.
I am one of the biggest Husky fans on the planet. I have been known to grow fur out of my ears because I am such a Husky lover. And that can mean two things. Sorry, I don't know. We'll cut that edit
out. If you
out.
missed the first episode, he thinks the Huskies are overrated.
What happened?
Yes, it was the exact opposite. So I will be the first person to admit when I was wrong, and I was wrong. However, I still am not their biggest fan, and the reason is because I think, just as everyone else did early on, that Notre Dame would be a team to beat. No offense, Lyle, but I also thought SC was going to be a team to beat, or at least in the Pac-12 South. So of course, both Notre Dame and USC can turn their seasons around. However, you see that whole chain, and it goes along. Notre Dame lost to Texas. Texas lost to Cal. Cal lost to San Diego State. And suddenly you start realizing that these teams who lost early on maybe aren't as great as they were predicted to be. So now I'm starting to realize that Stanford may not be the top 10 team that I had predicted them to be. However, I'm not going to take that win away from UW. They dominated from start to finish. They were very impressive. Jake Browning, I think, still maybe getting a little bit too much attention, but a very good quarterback. I do not see UW winning the Pac-12 this year, but I will give credit where credit is due, and I think that they maybe still a little bit overrated, but should definitely be ranked in the top 15, maybe even the top 10. 5, I think, is a little bit generous, though.
They played super well against Stanford.
Yeah,
I'll give them all credit for that, though.
I mean, they really did. And, everybody talks about Jake Browning and, well-deserved. He's been great, in my opinion, so far this season. But as a Seattle native, I think somebody who does not get talked about enough is their running back, Myles Gaskin, who rushed for 100 yards, over 100 yards, and 2 touchdowns this past Saturday.
But just really quick to
Very
go
well in that Stanford game.
Really quick to go back to Stanford, I do feel like they're overrated because they have no convincing wins this year. They beat Kansas State by 13. They beat USC by 17, who USC could have easily won that game.
They were in that game. They should have lost, but they were definitely in that game.
They barely squeaked by UCLA on literally a last-minute touchdown, and then they got dismantled by UW. I think Stanford, I don't think that they're going to go far this year. I have not been impressed by them at all. But, like I said, we've talked about UW and Stanford. Guys, looking at these top 25, who do you feel is either ranked too high or is just not getting enough love, is ranked too low?
Oklahoma is getting way too much love.
Oh yes.
Maybe not too much love per se, but 2-2. I have not been impressed with the Sooners at all. Really,
They have a win against Louisiana Monroe,
they do.
and they have a
Congratulations.
very close win over a TCU team who
Yes.
I'm not impressed with either. And they got dismantled by Houston, and they got embarrassed by Ohio State. I mean, which are two very respectable teams,
Yeah.
but this early in the year at 2-2, and like I said, with the teams they've beaten, a 20 ranking is very generous.
Yes.
Yeah, I got one pretty obvious one, and sorry, Spence, but Miami at 10, in my opinion, is absurd. So far this season, they've beaten Florida A&M, FAU, Appalachian State, and a mediocre Georgia Tech team. So for that, they're at 10. I
They're
mean,
at 10.
It blows me away. I just don't understand. Brad
Still
Kaya,
gotta
great
throw up the
quarterback.
U,
Don't want to
though.
take it away from him, but
Still gotta throw up the U.
Yeah, you did get a nice brand new Miami shirt the other day.
It was super slick.
Oh, he's super slick, yeah.
super
Brady,
slick.
what are your thoughts on the top 25? Who's that one team who you just grinds your gears?
Blake. Mine was Oklahoma as well. Sitting at 2-2, I really don't think they deserve to be up there, especially after not being ranked the week before, and now they're at number 20 at 2-2. They really haven't shown anything special. Baker Mayfield hasn't lived up to the expectation that he has this year. He was one of the Heisman frontrunners going into the season, and now he's rarely ever talked about. So I think Oklahoma's my one team that does not deserve to be in the top 25.
I'm gonna add on to that, and I'm gonna take I said Oklahoma as well, but I'm also gonna take the team right below them, and that's number 21, Colorado. Colorado, I believe, could be a sleeper team in the Pac-12, especially because a few weeks ago I had said that they were going to put 21 points up on Michigan, at least, and they put up, I think, 24. And, we didn't talk about them on the podcast. We weren't doing that then. But a lot of people were thinking at least 21 on Michigan. I don't understand that. And then I predicted that to be a close game against Oregon, and they beat Oregon. And this Colorado team, I do think, is a sleeper in the Pac-12, which is the glory of the Pac-12, because I really do think anyone can beat anyone. But I do not think Colorado is really deserving of a top 25 ranking.
Well, I think their true test comes this week when they play USC at the Coliseum. So,
But the funny thing is, though, you look at these rankings, and aside from pretty much Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson, Michigan, you just go down the list, and I can't find any team really here who I can see competing this year. I mean, yeah, you have some undefeateds here with A&M, Tennessee, Miami, Nebraska, but it's like aside from them, are there any really good teams in college football this year that you've just been impressed by? Because, like I said, aside from these top four, maybe throw in Michigan there, throw in Louisville, I don't see any teams that can pose a threat this season.
Well, looking just at the top 10 itself, you have Bama, Ohio State, Clemson, Michigan, Washington, and Houston. So 1 through 6 are all undefeated. Louisville is a one-loss team at 7. And then 8, 9, and 10 are all undefeated, Texas A&M, Tennessee, and Miami, respectively. And the only teams in there that I see really competing for a college football playoff spot are Bama, OSU, Clemson, and Michigan. Like I said, I don't think Washington has it. I don't think Houston has it. It's gotten to the point, I don't really know if Louisville has it. They're a very fun-to-watch football team. They're very good, very talented. I don't think they have what it takes to make the college football playoff. And just looking at the other teams in the top 10, I don't see anyone who's going to be able to compete with these top 4 teams.
Well, on that topic of Louisville, they've got one loss. Yeah, that was hey, they played their hearts out in that game, maybe outside of their wide receiver who just didn't fight for that first down at all. But outside of that, they played their hearts out in that game. It's pretty tough to go into Death Valley and beat Clemson.
Oh, yeah.
And they came up just a little short, but they got one loss. And really, their only tough game the rest of the season is Houston. So if they can beat Houston and they're 11-1 at the end of the year, I'm not saying they're 100% deserving to be in the college football playoff, but if the committee looks at them and they say, hey, Louisville's 11-1 with their only loss being at Clemson, I don't know. I don't know if they keep them out for that.
See, that's the fun part, though. You look at the teams that are ranked in the top 10, and pretty much almost everyone plays someone within that spot.
Yeah.
Like Clemson, they still got to play Florida State's down here at 23, but they still got to play Florida State, Michigan, Ohio State, Bama, Tennessee, A&M. So a lot of things are going to change. But as we were talking about Louisville, or Brady,
Yeah, real quick. What we were just talking about was one of these teams that could jump in. I think one of these lower teams will, because no matter how fun it would be, I know we might talk about this a little later in the show in the Q&A session, but I don't think there should be two teams, or I think there should be two teams from the same division in the playoffs. So I think it'd be really
deserving.
If they're deserving. So like right now, as it stands, Ohio State and Michigan. That'd be a lot of fun to watch.
Agreed.
It would be, but then, like I mentioned also, it comes down to how that game plays out.
Yeah.
If one team blows the other team out of the water, then they have no right. But if it's a close game where it comes down to a field goal or a touchdown, and I mean, it's also dependent on how these other teams fare. But you're right. If we get Ohio State and Michigan, and let's say the national championship, wow,
Wow.
that
would be
all I have
something to
say.
watch.
That'd be insane. That would be insane.
What do you guys think about Virginia Tech at 25? 3-1.
Someone's got to be number 25. Give it to
Fair
them.
point.
Not a lot of faith there.
They're playing
No.
North Carolina, who's 17, and a 17 versus 25 game is a lot more fun to watch than the 17 versus unranked game. That's so. I mean, like I said, someone's got to be at 24 is Utah. These bottom rankings don't mean anything except for Colorado at 21, who I feel should be higher. But I guess we'll see after their USC game. But back to Louisville, and if that one wide receiver, I don't know his name, if he wouldn't have,
I think it's James Quick.
if he just would have been a football player and just braced himself for that hit, Louisville wins the game. But for some odd reason, he says, I'm going to go out of bounds on 4th down on the 10-yard line. Guys, thoughts?
Well, aside from the receiver, if Lamar Jackson could have waited, I'm not saying he should have, but if he had the chance to wait a possible split second longer in the pocket, he did have a receiver that looked like he could have been all alone over the middle. However, let's not give what ifs, but if you go back to the receiver who steps out of bounds, he did get pushed, but he really kind of just spun out, and it really didn't seem like made that much of an effort to try to get forward and get the first down, or he just assumed that he had got it. And I think that's something, especially in college football at this level, competing against a team like Clemson and playing for a team like Louisville, who has been tremendous so far. I think that is a mistake that really cannot be made, especially in a make-it-or-break-it time in a football game like with the magnitude that this game had.
Now,
Go for the extra yard.
out of the two quarterbacks, who do you guys think had the better game? Lamar Jackson or Deshaun Watson?
I was fairly impressed by both.
Yeah.
I thought that Deshaun Watson has been a little bit disappointing to start the season. I'm still throwing him in my top 5 for the Heisman, but from what I was expecting of him this year, I am a little bit disappointed. But with the way that Lamar Jackson has been playing to start this season, I was also a little bit surprised to not see him go off early on. I thought he was going to play a lot better in the first half.
Yeah, I got to go with Lamar Jackson, too. I mean, I know Louisville ended up losing, but I still think he is still very much in the Heisman running, probably still the front runner after that, and still put up a heck of a fight. And Deshaun Watson, as we know, can do it with his arm, can do it with his feet, and he did so in that game. But he did throw 3 picks,
Yeah.
so that's something to think about, too.
Luckily, it didn't cost him the game, though.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Deshaun Watson had about, nearly 400 yards, 5 TDs, but as you mentioned, 3 interceptions, while Lamar Jackson, as he only had 3 touchdowns, had about 450 yards. So, I mean, you can coincide with everyone having really something different, something better. I was impressed with Lamar Jackson. That one play, I think that was his Heisman moment. He ended up having the incomplete pass where he dodged 4 tackles.
Mm-hmm.
If he would have made that play,
Oh, yeah.
He just threw the ball a little low.
that would have been his Heisman. Because as I was watching live, I'm going, oh my god, and then the incomplete pass and all the magic was gone.
Think it would have made your top 100 plays?
I think it would have, La. That's a very good question. See, that's the best thing is, everyone always sees a play now and they go, well, that's SportsCenter top 10. No. That's a Harris Highlights top 100. If you know what I'm talking about, just YouTube something. Okay.
Yeah.
YouTube something.
You-
Right,
YouTube
yeah.
something.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But that was a hell of a game. But really quickly, I want to go to this. I want to know what your guys right now, like I said, it's early in the year, way too early to make these kind of predictions. But as of right now, who are your guys' top 4 teams in the country? If the season ended today, who would be going for the top 4 playoffs? I'm going to start with you, Josh. And you can look at my answers. No cheating.
Well, I know what your answers are, but
Yeah, 'cause they're
I'm
good
not.
ones.
I'm not going to say in any respective order. However, I believe that the top 4 teams currently are Michigan, Ohio State, Clemson, and Alabama, and they're deserving of the top 5 or the top 4 ranking as of right now. Of course, there's still a lot of football left to be played, but I think they are the most impressive thus far.
Brady?
I hate to just piggyback off of Josh's answer, but I'm saying the same for Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson, Michigan.
I want to say same, and I
No, you want to say
Ow.
UCLA. You want to say the U. You want to say not Tennessee, and you want to say who?
Throw in Maryland.
Yeah, you're a fan of Maryland. Those
How
are-
many college teams do you have?
I'm going to change mine to all 4 being IU.
Yes.
All
I
four
was
being
about to
IU.
say all four. being
Unfortunately, you
Arizona
can't do that
State.
pick, but I like it.
Arizona State, Zane Gonzalez, USC.
Spencer could really have his own show about his favorite college football teams. To be honest, that could go
I
on for
really
hours.
like Houston a lot.
Houston.
I really like Houston, and if they're able to go undefeated and beat Louisville in the end,
Who would you take out of the top 4 then to put in
take out of the top
Houston?
4.
Yes.
Clemson's gonna lose.
Really?
Clemson's gonna lose.
It's a bold strategy, Cod, and let's see how it pays off. Who do you
I
see
have-
Clemson losing to?
Who do I have Clemson losing to?
That was the question he asked, yes.
Florida State.
Florida State.
Florida State.
I thought you
Now-
were a big Florida State hater.
Wait, is that Florida State game?
It's at Florida State.
It's at Florida State.
It's at Florida
Okay.
State.
That could be a good game, but I see Clemson running all over them. At this point.
I wouldn't
At
be
this
surprised though if Clemson loses that game. But I like
Florida
you going
State would
bold.
need a lot of momentum to do that.
They can do it though. They can do it. Dalvin
Yeah.
Cook. I like your picks. Lyle.
Okay, so I
me
got
crazy.
Ohio State at 1 and Bama at 2. My reasoning for that being, I think, when you look at the quarterbacks, you have J.T. Barrett, and you have, God knows who's ever down there at Bama right now.
Also, you can't forget strength of schedule as well.
Strength of schedule, too.
And Alabama just doesn't have a strong schedule, in my opinion.
They don't at all. But anyway, so you got Ohio State at 1 and Bama at 2 for me. At 3, I'll probably get scrutinized for this, especially by Josh, but I actually do have UW at 3.
No!
The reason for that
No!
being- and here's the
Dub at
reason for that.
3.
Michigan,
No.
great defense. From what I saw from UW this weekend against Stanford,
Stanford's
despite
trash.
what you guys might think about them being overrated,
Oh, I
Yes.
know
they
Stanford's
did
overrated.
it from both sides of the ball and dominated for 60 minutes. They blew me away this weekend. That's why for now I have them at 3, and then I got Clemson at 4.
They really surprised me too, but I don't see them even coming out of the Pac-12 with a conference championship.
You guys are saying Alabama has an easy schedule for the millionth time. Keep an eye on Chattanooga.
Oh, okay. So that's
They
the thing.
are prepping
Alabama-
themselves for that game, and I'm teling you, they're going to come in and they're going to put up a fight.
Alabama essentially has an entire month off of football.
They play 3 ranked teams.
Notice
in a
how
row.
Blake didn't say for how long.
I know,
That's a good-
Chattanooga can
yeah,
hold up
that's
a game.
I'm telling you, they will.
I don't even know what
when
conference they're in.
When Chattanooga comes up with the upset, you can come back to these podcasts, and I'll be right. But I'm just going to give you my top 4 really quick. It's
Go
kind of the same
viral
with
from
everyone
that.
else. Alabama at 1. I have Clemson at 2. Michigan at 3, and Ohio State at 4. Mainly because although Ohio State has been dominating, they haven't really played anyone except from Oklahoma. I mean, I don't even know about Oklahoma yet. But also, these are my 3, I guess you call them bubble teams, or I know for college basketball it's on the bubble, but this one, I have Louisville, Wisconsin, and Tennessee as my 3 who I can see making it in to the top 4.
By the
You
way,
guys think it was good?
Chattanooga's in the independent conference.
Ooh,
Even better.
And
Even that much more of a Cinderella story.
funky.
But
are they
those are
FBS? They're not FBS, are they?
I
think they
so.
are.
I think so.
Really?
Yeah.
But as we mentioned at the beginning of the show, here at the Harris Highlights show, we like to try to do our research and find some interesting statistics, some cool things to talk about. And our man Lyle over here has a very, very interesting fact that I think you're all going to be shocked by. I know I was. Lyle,
So
take it away.
I think I mentioned this to all you guys by now, but while I was watching the UW-Stanford game on Friday, a stat comes across the TV, and it absolutely blows me away.
Ask the question first, and then we'll have people guess what the answer is.
Okay, how many touchdowns has Christian McCaffrey scored on the road? How many rushing touchdowns has Christian McCaffrey scored on the road?
Christian McCaffrey is a junior, and last year he did set the record for all-time purpose yards. So give about 10 seconds right now and write your answer in the comments.
In his career,
Drum roll.
Christian McCaffrey has 0 rushing touchdowns on the road. That's
crazy.
unbelievable. That blows me away. That blows me away. Christian McCaffrey, no rushing touchdowns in his career on the road.
And he also only has 1 receiving touchdown on the road as well. So in his entire career, Christian McCaffrey has 1 touchdown on the road. You can look that up all you guys want. It is true. Lyle, how is that possible? How does he have 1 touchdown on the road?
My answer is as good as yours. I have absolutely no idea. I mean, you watch all these Christian McCaffrey highlights. I mean, when I never even stopped to really think about it much. I always thought the dude scores touchdowns left and right. He does it every week. I didn't realize that when they go on the road, he doesn't do anything. I mean, what do you guys think about this? I don't know.
Now, going back and trying to remember games that I watched of him playing on the road, it starts to make a little bit of sense, too.
Is this just something that's weird, how he just happens to not have any touchdowns, or is this a bigger picture? Is this something that's kind of worries you?
When Lyle told me this past weekend, we were all sort of in shock. And then we all did a little more research into it, and it makes a lot of sense because the road schedule that they have had isn't an easy road schedule.
But still not one rushing touchdown.
But still, okay.
I mean, hell, what is it? Sam Darnold. He has a rushing touchdown this
He
year.
has a rushing touchdown
He has a
on the
rushing
road.
touchdown on the road
Forget him.
this year.
No, but the stat with McCaffrey is, in looking at it, he provides so much to a team
Yeah.
in all the aspects he can do. He can run, he can catch. He's been able to march teams downfield. He may not have punched in the scoring touchdown, but he's marched teams downfield. He's provided on special teams. I'm not concerned about this. This isn't a big concern to me because of all the aspects that he provides to this Stanford team and has over the last couple of years.
I don't think it's a concern. I just think it's a bit surprising.
I'm gonna have to agree with you. Not concerning, just really surprising. Like when you told me that fact, Lyle, I had to question you 6 times over.
I'm still questioning you.
I still can't believe it
Did
right
you
now.
get into the ESPN database and
How
change this to make
liable is
yourself
your
look good? I
source?
think he did. He's turning red, guys. I think he's getting a little nervous. But
That's just Lyle.
that's a crazy stat. But speaking of McCaffrey, I kind of want to ease in now to our Heisman watch. Or as we are every week, we're going to talk about our top 5 favorite Heisman updates. And after another stellar performance this weekend, my number 1 has not changed. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Arizona State kicker Zane Gonzalez at number 1. Still leading the Heisman race.
What a guy. What a guy.
What a guy.
He's unreal. I don't think I've ever seen anyone quite play football like Zane Gonzalez.
He needs to make.
Unreal. He's insane.
He's insane.
Oh.
He needs 3 more field goals to break the all-time NCAA record.
I did not know that. That's
crazy.
That's crazy.
I found that out today because Brady told me.
Woo!
But I mean,
Great success.
High five.
you guys were telling me I do need to switch up my top 5, so just for you guys, I'm not going to have him in my top 5 right now, so I'll tell you mine. All right, for my top 5 Heisman list, I'm just going to go right through these. You guys can criticize me, you can laugh at me, you can compliment me, just do whatever. Washington quarterback Jake Browning. I'm not sure if he can lead them to an undefeated season, but if he can, then he's definitely going to be there at the end of the year. Number 4, this is a big stretch, but they are undefeated, Josh Dobbs. If Tennessee can keep this, whatever this they have going, if it's magic, if it's luck, if it's just skill and they're actually good, then he'll be there at the end of the year too. Number 3, Deshaun Watson. I think Deshaun Watson this week, although, he's still the real deal, those 3 interceptions did kind of scare me a little. Number 2, JT Barrett. He's been doing it all year. I think he just set the record for most touchdown passes in Ohio State history,
He did.
which is very impressive. JT Barrett's been the real deal. Can he keep it up? We'll see, because that Michigan game, I think, is going to make or break their entire season. Number 1, Lamar Jackson. I don't think the loss hurt him because he still put up pretty good stats, and the fact that Louisville was still in the game shows that he can keep his team in it when they're playing a competitive team, which a lot of people didn't think could happen. Guys?
I think you pretty much hit the nail right on the head, except for the Jake Browning.
I
I
figured.
disagree 100%.
Should I have him at number 6?
All right, whatever. As long as he's not in the top 5. But I do like the fact that you threw in Josh Dobbs. Of course, my Heisman frontrunner is still Lamar Jackson. And probably JT Barrett and Deshaun Watson. But I like throwing in Josh Dobbs, maybe because he's kind of a sleeper. And I know Spencer, I think he said this last week, but I also kind of like Trevor Knight.
That was me.
Oh, was that Lyle? I kind of like Trevor Knight. I don't think right now if we were to give the Heisman Trophy right now, I don't think he would even be considered. But I think if he keeps playing well, then I think you could possibly throw in Trevor Knight as well.
I'm going to stick with the same top 4. I think I don't think that should be your 5. I'm just going to give him a little bit of respect here. McCaffrey, he deserves to be in the top 5 at least. I still say that. I still think he's a great player. He's a great athlete. He's a great attributor to that team of Stanford. And I think he's my number 5. He's in the top 5.
What about Jabril Peppers, though? You were high in him last week.
Yeah, I
Jabril
was.
Peppers.
Tied for 5th.
He was quite
He's
a
tied
good-
for 5th.
Tied for 5th.
All right. I mean, my 1 and 2 are like your guys's. It's got, Lamar at 1, JT Barrett at 2. Very deserving. My number 3 is someone who Blake had on his list last week, but for some reason, I don't know why he's off this week, and that's Greg Ward. The dude
I love
lit
Greg
up
Ward.
UConn, which was Houston's one loss last year, so I had a little bit of question about that this week, about, would Houston pull out that win? And they did. He's been on fire all year, and he hasn't slowed down. So I like him at 3. Trevor Knight, my sleeper, still got him at 4. Had a little bit of a down week last week, but still feel like he can pick it back up. And then I got Josh Dobbs at 5, who's been pretty solid all year.
Now, we were going to talk about the Pac-12 rankings, but with all these questions we've been getting on the YouTube video, I kind of want to spend more time on the Q&A. So next week we're going to go over our Pac-12 rankings from 12 to 1 and who we feel are the best teams in the conference. So the Q&A shall begin.
I love the Q&A, honestly.
So great.
I love it.
We could do a whole show.
Now this question comes from, what it says, Brady, and it says in all caps, Indiana is the best team in the country.
I don't think so.
No, I'm pretty sure this came from you, Brady.
No, I yes,
Is that
but
an Indiana Hoosiers shirt you're wearing, by the way?
probably, maybe.
All you
It's
can
a,
see is the Red Adidas
That
logo.
is something, though.
it's a Hoosiers football shirt, is what it is.
Really quick, though, before the Q&A, I would like to mention that great win by Indiana.
I called it.
I do want to give them some love for the show because that was a great game.
I just actually saw this when looking at ESPN when prepping for the show. This was really funny because former Michigan State quarterback Kirk Cousins and former IU quarterback Nate Sudfeld are now teammates. And they bet on this game.
Ooh.
What was the bet?
The loser had to wear the opposing team's sweatshirt or shirt for the entire day. So scrolling through Instagram, see Nate Sudfeld's Instagram, and see a beautiful picture of Kirk Cousins rocking an Indiana Hoosier sweatshirt. And he also made
You like that?
You like that? I do like that a lot. Cousins also is going to donate.
Good on him.
He's going to donate some money to a charity that Nate Sudfeld is a big supporter of as well. So that's
nice.
that's really cool that these two guys got that a small rivalry going for this past week. Hopefully, Hoosiers can keep it up against the Buckeyes.
Yeah, I already have a few of those shirt bets going on. Lyle and I are probably going to end up doing one.
We
for
got one
SC
for
and
USC Notre Dame for sure.
I've already got. Well, someone tried to do an ASU UCLA one with me, and at the time I said, let's do one a little bit more fair. Let's do USC versus UCLA because I am an SC fan as well. So I said we'll do that one, and now I'm kind of looking at it, and I think ASU can pull out a win this week, but we'll talk about that in a little bit.
All right, going to the Q&As. This one is from Mr. Baller, and he asks, can anyone slow down Ohio State's offense, and when will their defense allow a rushing touchdown for the first time?
That is a great question.
Guys, can Ohio State be stopped? Josh, you're raising your hand, and no, this is not elementary school class. You can just speak, but go right ahead.
I am a big fan. I'm not a big fan. I like watching. I'm not Spencer. I only like a few teams.
Oh,
I only like
goodness gracious. Come on.
I have two teams who play each other every year. Anyways, I like the Huskers. I like the Nebraska Cornhuskers. I almost went to Nebraska. Good school, good football team, very impressive.
I'm asking about Ohio State, and they
Just
can
wait,
stop.
just
That's your
wait.
whole
And I'm
background
talking about, okay, I like this Nebraska defense. I like the black shirts. I think that if anyone in the conference is going to slow down Ohio State within the next few weeks, I think it could be the black shirts at Nebraska. And I like their running game, too. I think they could be one of the first teams to score a rushing touchdown on Ohio State.
So the question is, can anybody beat Ohio State? Yes, but in the college football playoff. That would be the only time. Until then, not a chance. They have been unstoppable. Like the question says, haven't let up a rushing touchdown. JT Barrett's been on fire, 17 touchdowns through 5 games. They're the best team in the country, in my opinion, right now.
I'm not just saying this because I'm
Biased?
from Indiana. No, I'm not.
Spencer's biased.
No. I'm not just saying this because I'm from Indiana. I'm a Hoosiers fan, all this and that. Statistically, over the last 3 years, the Indiana Hoosiers have had a top 10 rushing offensive line in all of college football. Their left
Very
tackle
true.
this past year, Dan Feeney, he's gone now. He did not let up a single sack in his entire 4-year career at IU.
Wow.
Yeah.
So,
But
the
so they have a
answer is
tradition of big
Indiana.
offensive linemen. Those big not Cornhuskers. the big Hoosiers.
Damn it, Josh,
Well,
you can
no,
say
no,
that.
Well, because
I didn't do anything.
there's a lot of corn in Indiana. I was trying to make a corn joke. I was trying to make a corny joke.
so-
Ha there it is. No, there's a lot
Bring it
of all these big farmer boys on the offensive line at IU. they're hard-hitting offensive linemen. They run downfield. They have a very fast-paced offense. They had the fastest-paced offense last year in all of college football, averaging one play every 9.5 seconds. So this IU offensive line could go down with Divine Redding at running back and score a running touchdown against Ohio State.
I think
I think they do.
I think they're going to score 2. High five.
I love it.
All right, on to the next question. This one is from fellow highlight maker, the CN Taco.
Ooh, what a
And
name.
He's
I
a
like
big
that.
he's a big Tennessee fan. He wants to know what our thoughts are on Tennessee and can a duck pull a truck. I'm still trying to figure out Tennessee. I don't know if this is some lucky game streak they're on right now where they're just pulling out all these wins. I don't know if they're legit. I don't know if they're going to lose a lot of games during the year. Who they remind me of? Is it the 2013 Auburn team that had all those miraculous victories, or is that 2014? 2014?
14.
That's who this team reminds me of. Now, we all know how that season turned out, so will it turn out the same? I don't know. Guys, please give me your thoughts on Tennessee, because
I think your answer is going to come this week when they play Texas A&M at Texas. Whether they are the real deal or not, we'll answer that question.
I think they have to beat Texas Tech
A&M.
TM.
by at least 10 to make me feel confident, because if that's a close game, I'm still going to be doubting myself.
Yeah, I think it comes in the next 2 weeks. If they go 1-1 in the next 2 weeks, Tennessee does against A&M and Alabama. I mean, there's no reason that they can't get into that SEC championship game too, because after that they've got Tennessee Tech, Kentucky, Missouri, and Vanderbilt. Not too tough of a schedule to end the year. So if they get by in these 2 games, I think they can go to the SEC championship for sure, maybe the college football playoff.
Brady?
Yeah, Tennessee playing this week at Texas A&M, College Station, Aggieland, whatever the hell you want to call it. It's one of the tough...
original 12th man, Lyle.
Yes,
The original.
But who's the
12th
better
man.
12?
Hey, who won the lawsuit?
Hawk Nation.
Who won the lawsuit? Oh.
Oh.
Yikes.
That's what I was saying. It's one of the toughest places to play in all of college football. Up there with the Big House. Up there with probably Tennessee. Aggieland is one of the toughest, craziest places to play in all of college football, without a doubt. And I think if Tennessee has a chance, it'll be with the sound, because they're used to playing with a lot of noise. Home at Tennessee, that could come to their advantage because they're used to it. And then they go to, would you say, Alabama next week?
Alabama in
next
2 weeks, yeah.
I think they will go 1-1 in these 2 weeks, in these next 2 weeks.
Here's a good one from Be Real Entertainment. Can Michigan State recover from back-to-back losses? Also looking forward to seeing the vid. Thank you, Be Real Entertainment. Brady, I'm going to go to you since they just lost to your team. Can Michigan State recover from these losses?
I think yes. Michigan State losing to the Hoosiers this past week, and then the week before lost to Wisconsin 30-6. Now that was a terrible loss for the Spartans. Now these next upcoming weeks, they have a fairly easier schedule. So the next 3 weeks, they're home against BYU. They're home against Northwestern, then they play at Maryland. After that, they play home against Michigan, at Illinois, home against Rutgers, home against Ohio State, and then at Penn State. So they have a fairly easy Big Ten schedule playing out with the rest of the year. BYU, not a Big Ten team. Not sure how that game got thrown into this mix, actually. But I think Michigan State can recover. They have a very good team. They don't have the quarterback leader like they had last year and the last couple of years with Connor Cook. I know he wasn't a team captain, all the controversy there, whatever you want to say about him. But I think they don't have a leader, an experienced quarterback that can lead this team, and I think that's what's hurting them.
Michigan State is going to end up a 4-loss team. However, I don't think people should be sleeping on Maryland too much. They're currently undefeated.
Oh, no.
Hey, let me just talk this out. I don't think Maryland can compete for a Big Ten title. I don't think they'll be in the conversation at all, as they should not be. However, I think going to Maryland, this was a game a couple years ago that was kind of close for the first half at least. So I think this is a Maryland team that could cause some problems. Of course, Sparty's going to get the win, but I think that their schedule looks a lot harder because of these last 2 losses that they have. So I think some Michigan State fans might be looking at some of these easier games ahead and might be a little bit more concerned about them like that Maryland game.
Yeah.
But 4-loss team.
Yeah, I'm with Josh on this one. I think Michigan State absolutely loses 4 games, if not more. And to be honest, I saw it coming. Week 1 when they played Furman and they won 28-13 over Furman, I was like, what's up with these guys? I mean, they're in for a tough year, and so far that's how it's been. They've lost these last 2 games, and I think it's just going downhill from here.
But this Bats 2X Highlights wants to know, can Florida State rebound this season to a somewhat decent result?
somewhat decent or better, yes.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm gonna agree, but they're not gonna win this week.
Oh God, we'll
Who
get
do they
into that
play?
later.
We'll get into that later.
Wow.
Yeah, I agree.
Is Kenny Hill performing like you thought he would before the season started?
I'm gonna say yes, because was it 2 years ago where he had his breakout year? Last year disappeared, and this year he's getting back up into it. I think Kenny Trill, he's living up to the minor expectations that he had.
Yes.
Yes.
Definitely met, if not excelled, my expectations. I mean, when he lost the job to Kyle Allen a couple of years ago, I thought he was done, but he's really bounced back pretty well.
We have another question. I forgot to mention his name. This comes from Nicholas. I think it's Jewel or Jewel. I don't know. But he wants to know thoughts on these undefeated teams. But I'm just going to ask you guys, out of these undefeated teams I'm going to mention right now, who do you think ends up with the most wins? Nebraska, West Virginia, Maryland, Western Michigan, or Air Force?
Like I said, I think Maryland has gotten better, but I think without a doubt Nebraska.
Nebraska, no question.
Go Big Red.
I'm gonna stick in the Big Ten, go with Nebraska. I think they have a lot of good aspects of their team.
Yeah, Huskers for sure.
Air Force is a close second.
Air Force. I'm going to give some love to Western Michigan because I've been watching some of their highlights this year because I have to do them for my best weekly videos.
No, you get to do that.
I have the privilege of doing them, but they've looked good. I think they had the second most votes for non-top 25 teams. I mean, I could be proven wrong. Fact checkers, maybe someone on that, but they're on the edge.
They're technically 26 right now.
Technically 26, so they're right on that borderline. But I mean, it's early in the season to call. Air Force is a great team, but I say Western Michigan given 10 or 11 wins.
Now, I'm going to propose a question that I've seen a lot of on Twitter, and one of the questions on here talks about Oregon. WTD Productions talks about should Oregon fire their head coach, but a lot of the talks on Twitter is there any chance Chip Kelly comes back to Oregon?
Well, WTD, I'm assuming might mean win the day if we're talking about Oregon. So, is Mark Helfrich on the hot seat? Yes. But they're Oregon. So a loss this week to UW, which I think might get ugly in favor of the Huskies. But I think a loss this week isn't too much to worry about for Oregon fans as long as they can rebound second half of the season like they did last year. They were very impressive at the end of the year last year. But yes, Mark Helfrich is on the hot seat. If they don't succeed and don't bounce back this year, yes, I think he's gone. And will Chip Kelly come back? Absolutely not. No way.
Yeah, no way Chip Kelly comes back, but Helfrich just took these guys to a national championship 2 years ago. And yeah, they're having a tough season right now. Maybe he gets the boot at the end of the year, but no way they fire him mid-season.
I agree. I don't think there's a chance he comes back. I think he's having, I wouldn't say too much success in the NFL, but he's starting to finally get some success in the NFL.
Really quick, we're talking about the potential firing. I just want to bring up Charlie Strong. One, do you think he's on the hot seat? Two, do you think he deserves to be on the hot seat?
I think he is not, as of today, tweeted out they have full support in their coaching staff and their student athletes. And that's big for a coach who's had a lot of talk like Charlie Strong. I think, yes, he's technically on the hot seat, but no, he shouldn't be.
Carter Dog 15 wants to know, does Stanford still have any chance at a playoff spot?
No. There's no way.
No way.
It's a big NO from me.
Playoff, no. Pac-12, yes.
This comes from Travis Delry, and I like this question. He wants to know, why does my high school start so early? Travis?
It all depends. Where do you go to high school?
I mean, there's very different things we can break down. You're A, number one, the high school. Two, are you on a quarter system? Are you on a semester system? Three, what's the state? I mean, it all varies.
And depending on the state, what's the school district? Is
I'm
it a public
sorry.
school?
And depending on the state, is it a
Yeah,
part
like,
of
is it-
daylight savings
Is it
time?
an all-guys school? Is it an all-girls school? Is it
My earliest class is 10:30.
I mean, bro,
Shut up.
Shut
there's
up.
many variables, but unfortunately we can't answer that, but we appreciate the question.
Thanks for listening.
I appreciate the honesty, too.
Are Heisman frontrunner Zane Gonzalez's dreams over after his loss this weekend?
Nope.
No.
HE double hockey sticks, no front runner. Hashtag Gonzalez for Heisman.
I say if
We need to make a sign at the next game that says that.
Zane Gonzalez for Heisman.
Next time you guys watch an ASU football game, if you do, and you see a couple of idiots holding up a sign that says Zane Gonzalez for Heisman, that's us.
Oh, yeah.
That's me.
Shout out to the person who sat in front of us at the next game and made a sign that said Cal believes Ryan Lochte. 100% the best sign I've seen so far since I've been here at ASU.
Texas
Hey,
Tech deleted Hillary's
Zane,
emails. I saw
Zane
that
did
one.
his job in the game. He was insane against
Zane
USC.
did do his
Insane in the membrane.
I think you already used that one.
Yeah, I
did.
did. But I saw it. I loved it.
No reusing jokes more than twice.
Here's a good one. Will true freshman Justin Herbert start a QB for Oregon, and will he be more effective than Prukop? Well, he already is starting. Is he Oregon's solution? Yes or no?
You never know.
You never know.
I'm going to say no.
I know UW's tough, but we'll have to wait and see this week.
That's going to wrap up our Q&A section of the show. Unfortunately, we don't have enough time to answer all about 80 questions we got. If you'd like to have one of your questions or topics answered, every week before we film the show, I post on YouTube or Twitter pretty much just a little thing asking you to submit your questions. So on Tuesdays, keep your eye out for those, and we'd love to hear from you guys because we get great joy in answering these questions, don't we, guys?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
As we mentioned earlier in the show, we're going to bring a new segment called UniWatch, where pretty much each of us is just going to give our favorite uniform from the past week. Nothing too fancy, just your favorite uniform. Guys, what did you like this week?
Well, I'm going to give a shout out to Tennessee. I did like the all whites, but I think my favorite uniform of the week has got to be Washington State. I really liked the all gray with the almost metallic matte paint type helmets. I don't know how to describe them, but I really liked them. I think their uniforms get overshadowed by some of the other schools in the Pac-12 or the Pac-12 North, but I like Wazoo's the past week.
I'm a toss-up between two of them. I like Louisville's, the white jerseys, red pants, red chrome helmets, but you can't forget about TCU's.
Oh, you took mine.
I'm sorry.
See, I'm going to have to go with Oklahoma State. Black jerseys, orange crisp numbers, and then the star on the helmet. Can't get better than that, baby.
As mainstream as it is, I got to go with the Oregon Ducks. Every week, their uniform never disappoints.
Ugh!
I knew you'd do that. But the green pants, nice white jersey, green helmet, I love it.
I hate them.
Now, there were some really good unis this week. I mean, there were some good ones, but I'm looking here, and I like Texas Tech. I mean, the red and the white and those chrome helmets. I mean, they're kind of like the Louisville helmets, but those are fresh.
They had some black accents on them too. It was pretty
Oh
cool.
yeah, they were nice. But I mean, it seems like now in college football, every team is on UniWatch, unless you're like USC, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Oklahoma.
Which
They
I
don't
do
change it.
like though too.
But I'm impressed with these uniforms. Wow. Do you guys hear that? Oh, yes it is. It is time for the Pick'em.
Woo! Let's go.
Everyone's favorite portion of the show, the time where we all make our terrible picks and are absolutely wrong. But hey, we have fun doing it. That's all that matters, right guys?
Oh yeah.
As long as I'm not in last place.
So now there were a few comments that people were asking us to keep tally of our pick'em scores throughout the season, and I feel like that's a good idea. It'll give us some more incentive to be right, not be like Spencer and make stupid picks like he did last week. So
I'm tied for Spencer. I'm tied.
So,
I think. I
let
don't
me
know.
just let me go over the rankings really quick. Leading the way with 8 points, yours truly.
It's rigged.
It's rigged.
Coming in second is a tie between Josh and Lyle with 6.
36 has high five.
And with 5, we have Brady and Spencer.
Wait, so you're telling me I'm not last?
You're tied for last.
I'm tied for last.
You are
You're
tied.
second.
So you're telling me there's a chance.
Yes.
So you're
I
telling
don't know.
me there's a
Reeves.
chance.
We're going to see what Spencer's picks look like this week.
I was going to say opposite of our fantasy league, but the only opposite is that you're not tied for last place in that.
It's a long story, folks. It's a long story.
Kid just can't win.
He can't win. All right,
And
boys.
his roommate, all he does is win.
To start things off this week, we have LSU traveling to Florida to take on the Gators. Who wins this game, guys?
Coach O and LSU.
Florida, because Leonard Fournette's not going to play this week.
Florida, the swamp.
I originally had LSU because I don't think Florida's that strong, but with Fournette out, I got to go with the Gators.
This Fournette thing has me on the edge, but I got to go with my gut. I'm going with LSU.
Whew.
Ballsy.
Notre Dame at NC State.
I mean, I think that this season has been kind of disappointing for Notre Dame so far, but I'm going to stick with the Irish.
I am too. Deshaun Kaiser's going to lead him to a win.
I'm not. Go North Carolina State.
Wolfpack.
Wolfpack.
Do I even need to say it? How could I pick against my boys? Go Irish.
NC State's 3-1. They've looked really good this year. Notre Dame still kind of scares me because their win. I mean, that Syracuse game. What was it like? 5 touchdowns in the first minute. I mean NC State's at home. I'm going with NC State in this game.
Really?
I'm not going to be surprised if Notre Dame wins, but I'm going with NC State.
Not gonna lie, Blake. I thought Spencer was just making another stupid pick.
And yet I was the only one who picked Washington to win last week.
Move on.
So,
I was the only one who picked USC to win.
Yeah, but we're biased as hell. That doesn't count. All right, we have number 20 Oklahoma at Texas. Now, both of these teams are 2-2, but they're very different 2-2s. Guys, who's winning?
Like you said, 2-2, very different 2-2. But I'm gonna go with the Oklahoma Sooners.
I think Charlie Strong needs to make a point fast with this team, especially after all the talks from this past week. I think the Longhorns are going to hook them in this game.
Ooh, I'm going to say Boomer Sooner. With Baker Mayfield going to show up and play.
I love Oklahoma. I think they're a really strong team. I like the Sooners.
I like what Brady said about Charlie Strong having to come out for this game. I don't think his job's on the line, but he needs a win here, and what better team to do it than against Oklahoma? Oklahoma takes the win.
What?
I got you there, didn't I?
Not so fast.
Not so fast, my friend.
No.
All right.
Wait.
a
Really
long
quickly,
story.
let me just say that I think, especially if you're borderline on the hot seat, you can't be successful and lose to your arch rival.
Yeah, that's true.
You can win every
Especially
game.
at home.
You can win every game, but if you're losing to your arch rival, people are going to turn their heads, and that's going to be a big question mark.
But they beat them last year.
They did beat them last year. That was a huge win for him.
And now we get our first rank versus rank matchup, at least for the pick 'em this week. Number 25, Virginia Tech at number 17, North Carolina.
Virginia Tech, North Carolina. So I brought up Virginia Tech when we were looking at our top 25.
I get you brought him up, Josh, but who are you having winning the game?
See, I'm just not feeling Va Tech. I'm going to have to go with the Tar Heels.
The boys in blue up in Chapel Hill got to come out victorious in this game.
UNC, baby.
I like the receivers that the Tar Heels have. I like UNC in this game.
You guys are all picking North Carolina.
You have to go Virginia Tech now. You have to.
Do it.
I'm wearing my Duke shirt.
Do it.
Oh.
Make this show at least a little more exciting with the pick'ems. I'm going with Virginia Tech in this one. I think North Carolina's going to win, but if Virginia Tech gets this win, I get an extra point. I'll take it.
Taking the gamble.
Probably the best game of the weekend. Number 9, Tennessee at number 8, Texas A&M. Guys, pick.
Well, I think we all kind of agreed it was going to be 1-1 for Tennessee in their next two games, so I'm going to go with Rocky Top.
I don't think I agree with you. They're going to go 1-1 in the next two games. Their loss will be this, or the loss will not be this week. Tennessee's going to win this game. Very close, though. Very close.
I got to go with A&M. In College Station, I think Trevor Knight shows up, has a good game. Aggies take it.
Spencer, I know you're dying to figure this one out. If we had a camera right now on you, this would be gold because he's like really trying to figure it out. Who wins this game?
Boy, it's killing me. I'm gonna have to go with Tennessee. The magic
Whoa.
continues. The magic continues.
Did he
Said
just
the Tennessee
Did he
hater.
just say Tennessee?
You did.
'Cause
You
you're the
heard
only-
it here. You heard.
So-
Are
it.
you
Is
from
this-
Tennessee?
Is this the
'Cause you're
week?
stupid.
Is this the week that you finally tell us your long story about why you hate Tennessee?
Nope.
Unfortunately, this is not a 2-hour show. We only have an hour. But he's going with Tennessee. I'm going with Tennessee as well. I think this is going to be Josh Dobbs' coming out party. His road to the Heisman begins now, and we'll just see where it takes him. Number 5, Washington at Oregon.
I can't believe I'm going to say this, but Washington is going to demolish them. They are going to beat them so badly.
I agree. Washington's going to come into Eugene and come out victorious.
I'm gonna say Washington, no question.
Definitely UW.
I was going to pick Oregon until they made the decision to put in their true freshman quarterback, which I still do not know why they did because I thought Prukop was doing a great job. But, I mean, I'm not the coach. I don't know why. Washington.
I can tell you 3 reasons.
Washington takes this game easily, I feel. At least 3 touchdowns. Number 23, Florida State at number 10 ranked, the U.
Do not mind if I answer first.
I will not mind.
I mind.
Miami finally overcoming their rival, Florida State. Raise that U high in the sky. baby.
Also, really quickly, have we seen what Miami's wearing this weekend? They're wearing the retro throwbacks. Like
Oh,
they used to wear in the good old
yes.
days.
Oh,
they
yes.
are clean.
It's
Brady, if you want to look them up right now,
Oh, I
that way
will.
you know.
Just
they are
for
looking
that,
good.
I want to pick them.
I,
Just for that.
Josh, I mean, I'm thinking about that too, but you got to pick one.
I got to pick one, and
It's all about the U.
man, I like Delvin Cook. Man, this is hard. I'm feeling a lot like Spencer for that Tennessee game, but I'm gonna go with the guy who grew up 5 minutes from my house. I'm gonna go with Brad Kaya and the U.
Wow.
There is a chance, and a high chance, that this game does not happen this week.
That is true.
Very strong
That would
chance.
save us from our picks, but I hate
That could
saying
save them. I hate saying that. I'm almost positive the game will get canceled due to the
Prayers out.
Yeah,
guys.
seriously.
Prayers out.
due to the incoming hurricane though. Hurricane was it Matthew?
Matthew.
Yeah.
Matthew.
Coming into Florida on the East Coast. I think this game doesn't happen this week, but if it does, I think the Hurricanes are going to win this one.
I like Florida State in this one. Like I said earlier, I don't really think Miami's that good. They haven't had any impressive wins. This is their first real test.
Bruh.
Not sure they live up to it. But hey, Spence,
Bruh.
if they lose, if Miami loses, hopefully one of your other 25 teams win this week.
Oh my god. Pick it up.
because last week y'all picked on me.
It's fine.
It's only right.
Hey, real quick, by the way, guys, we were talking about college football while there's a college football game going on. Did you know that?
Central Arkansas, right?
Arkansas State versus Georgia Southern.
That's what I meant.
And Arkansas State won with a game-winning touchdown with 9 seconds left.
College football on
Yeah.
a Wednesday?
Yeah, it's weird.
It's a bold move, Cotton.
I thought it was Thursday.
It paid off.
We were doing this whole show. I thought today was Thursday.
The more you know.
Move on.
I really want to pick Miami because of those uniforms. I mean, I love being the throwbacks. I don't think that they're deserving of the 10 ranking. I think they're better. I don't think they're this great of a team. Florida State, I mean, I don't want to pick any of these teams because I can see it going either way.
Yeah.
But I'm going with Florida State.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be hyped up. I think Miami's going to choke under the pressure, and Florida State's going to take it. In a close game, Miami's still going to be competitive. And Spencer has left the show, everyone. Spencer has left the show, and he'll be back next week. Later, Spencer.
Yeah,
All
but
right.
of course, I really hope the game happens, but wish the best for everyone in Florida. I hope the game happens, but if it does, I think...
Our pick'ems are safe, though, and if the game happens, we will go back to this. All right, now we have number 21, Colorado, traveling to LA in the Coliseum to take on the USC Trojans. Josh, how many points does Colorado win by this week?
Well, I do like what Colorado's been able to do so
10.
far. However, SC had a very big game last week. I think they're going to ride the momentum, and I think that SC is going to show why they are one of the best teams in the Pac-12 South. So I'm going to say SC by at least 14 points.
We talked about this the other day, and I said originally I had Colorado in this one, but thinking about it, I don't see why there's any reason why USC can't win after coming off this past week with a great win over ASU. Was it 41-20?
41-20.
Don't remind me.
41-20. Come on, you're a fan of both. 41-20 USC this past week over a lacking ASU defense, but a very high-powered ASU offense. Granted, Manny Wilkins did get hurt in that game, but I think USC has a lot of speed. They're faster than almost every other team in all of college football. I don't think Colorado stands a chance at the Coliseum this week.
And this is at USC, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, at
Oh,
Collie.
boy. What is my world coming to?
Are you going to make a biased pick or a reasonable pick?
Another fun drinking
alright.
game. For every 5 seconds it takes Spencer to
Oh
think of a pick. Okay.
All right, fine. Just for the sake of me actually having a
There's
chance.
one shot.
Okay, I was going to say that too.
USC!
No way.
Hey!
Are you picking USC to win? End the show now. I don't think I've ever seen this before.
Wow.
He's covering his face in the corner.
Yeah, I think Brady said it pretty well. I think USC's too fast and too athletic, and I don't have a ton of faith in Colorado, so I'm going with the Trojans for this one.
Well, you guys just all had to pick USC, didn't you?
Make the right choice.
Kind of.
I see USC winning this game. I see Colorado in the long run being the better team this season, but I want to stay on top for the pick'em, so I'm going to go with USC with you guys. So either we all get a point or we all don't get a point, but I'm not going to lose at all.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
All right, so I'm going with USC. I honestly think that they're going to win, though.
I think this next one's probably the best game of the entire
It
weekend.
is. And this is another, a lot of new segments this week. We got the uniform watch, we got the fun facts, but I think this one is a great one.
Oh,
No
yes.
doubt, no doubt.
The worst of the worst.
Yay!
All right, guys. Now
Applause.
I had to look through all the games this weekend and find the absolute worst game, the one game that you cannot pay me to watch, and that is 1-4 FIU traveling to take on the 1-4 UTEP Miners. Guys, who wins this game and goes 2-4?
I think the better team in this game currently has a record of 1-4.
But wait, they both have a 1-4 record.
Never mind. I'm gonna go with El Paso.
Brady,
I think whichever team scores more points will win this one. That's my bold prediction.
really?
I really think if they can come out on top and come out fast, I think they'll have a good chance of winning.
Who's that again?
Both of them.
Both of them. Okay.
Let's go FIU, because why the hell not?
I'm going to say the Golden Panthers of Florida International. Woo!
I'm gonna go with UTEP because I've heard of them.
El Paso's going to be rocking this weekend. They're going to come out firing. Their quarterback is going to go throw for at least 500 yards. And
Oh my gosh.
And UTEP is going to take this game easily, 59-10.
Watch this. We say this jokingly, and yet it's all going to happen.
You heard it here. If that's
Or
Well,
it's
you said both teams are gonna win. I don't think that happened.
No, I said FIU.
Or it's gonna be the best game of the week.
And now, boys, as we wrap up every show with our Arizona State Sun Devils, UCLA travels to Tempe this weekend. How is that game going to fare out?
Well, like Brady mentioned, ASU quarterback Manny Wilkins got hurt last week against USC. We still don't have any confirmation as of right now. Things could change, but Brady White did come into that game, and he led the Sun Devils to 2 touchdowns. And I've been watching Brady White since high school, so I've been very impressed with Brady White. He was my front runner for the Heisman Trophy, for the starting job, at Arizona State. We all know the Heisman's going to Gonzalez. But I think
confidence.
I feel like Brady White at quarterback might even be a step up from Manny Wilkins. And early on in the season, I had this being a blowout win for UCLA, but I think ASU will take this one. The Sun Devils win very close. Very good game, very close. ASU.
Some good news for ASU fans. Coach Todd Graham the other day said Manny Wilkins out of the boot. He's walking. He's still jogging with a limp on that left leg, but he won't miss significant time. He didn't suffer any damage to the leg or ankle at all, which is really good to see because that hit and that his leg contorted unlike anything I've ever seen before. But I think if Brady White is a starting quarterback for this game, which I'm guessing he will be, I think he'll lead this team to a victory. UCLA, great quarterback in Josh Rosen. He has a star tight end, Austin Roberts. Go Carmel, go Hounds. We were teammates back when we played in high school together, No big deal. I was on the scout team. He was running all over defenses. I got trucked by Austin Roberts once. Not fun, but I think USC is going to win this game despite the fact
USC's not playing in this game.
ASU is going to win this game. I think ASU is going to win this game despite the fact that UCLA has a good arsenal of weapons on offense.
Here comes the UCLA fan, / Miami fan, / every other team in the country. Maryland.
/
Maybe Florida State? I'm not sure. Just check
Maybe
them out.
Florida International.
Florida International.
Give us your picks, Vince.
Shot.
I think this one's going to depend on the quarterback situation with Arizona State, with how Manny Wilkins feels, with how well Brady White will actually feel on getting more playing time. With all that up in the air, I'm really hesitant on picking Arizona State, so I'm going to go with my Bruins.
Ooh, my Bruin.
I think
I like it. You're
I
going to
think
be losing by even more next week in the pick'em.
not so fast, my friend. I like the Sun Devils. I think Josh said it pretty well. I think Brady White's definitely a step up from Manny Wilkins. The guy's the highest quarterback recruit the Sun Devils have ever had, I think.
He is,
And I don't think UCLA is too strong. That's why I like the Sun Devils in this game.
Brady White and Josh Rosen were both quarterbacks in high school in Southern California and came out of the same recruiting class, both in the top 5 quarterbacks in the country. That's why I think this could be a very fun game to watch.
You guys have taken all the words out of my mouth. I think Arizona State wins this game. I hope it's a close game. I hope it's a good game. I'm really interested to see Brady White and how he performs because from what I saw last week, I mean, there were some plays the wide receivers could have made catches. The running game was weak. I don't think it was a good test to see him. I think he does well. Is it an upgrade for Manny? I guess we'll have to wait and see. but it'll be a good one. But I'm going with the Sun Devils. One of these days, I'm not going to choose them.
They're two different types of quarterbacks. Manny's
Yeah.
an athlete. Brady's a pocket passer.
Yeah.
You have to
Brady
understand
can run the ball, though,
Yes.
just not as well.
that I'm an Arizona State.
He doesn't have
fan
those hurdles.
because
Yeah.
I go to Arizona State. Okay, fun fact. It's only because Manny Wilkins is doubtful. I haven't seen enough to say that I'm confident with Brady White. I know UCLA enough to say that they are in contention to beat the Sun Devils only because of the quarterback.
Yeah.
He provided
Inconsistency.
logical reasoning.
No, yeah, your pick totally makes sense. I understand why you're going with that. But
So you
I-
do like me.
yeah, I like you. I just don't like UCLA.
No,
In case,
I'm
you guys,
kidding. I don't,
haven't figured it out by now, Josh and Blake love USC. Brady loves Indiana. I love Notre Dame, and there's too many to count for Spencer.
yeah.
But I would say top two for Spencer, UCLA and Miami, considering he bought 2 shirts the other day.
He also bought a UCLA
Still haven't
shirt.
worn the UCLA shirt, though, which I'm not complaining about.
But if you're out there and you have a team that you feel needs an extra fan, I'll put Spencer's Twitter in the bio, and you can submit a nice resume for him, why he should be a fan, why their fans are great, their team history, their uniforms.
I will
Throw it all
follow
to him,
back.
and he'll throw you a follow back.
SPX09.
But he's looking for more teams. So if you have a team out there, if you're D1, D2, D3, well, if it's your local high school team, you need an extra fan, I guarantee you Spencer will
Pop
become
Warner,
your
Little
fan.
League, everything.
He'll be the fan. So hit him up on Twitter. Like I want to come back next week and tell you guys that his DMs were absolutely flooded with all these. Like that's your one job. Just go flood his DM with any team you want.
Co-ed flag football teams will be accepted.
Yeah, if your daughter's ASO team needs another fan, even better.
At this
there
point,
you go.
hit me up with any other sport.
But unfortunately, our show is coming to an end. I know. I'm just as sad as you are. But our friend Josh here has a very fun announcement he'd like to make.
Well, upon coming to Arizona State, Brady and I, who both had a little bit of broadcasting experience in high school, we ended up starting a new live stream company called Sunset Sports Arizona. We started broadcasting for a local high school called Saguaro. What is it? Nine-time state champions here in Arizona. I believe today I saw that they moved up to number 13 in the country. Incredible football team. We're going to be doing some live streams for them throughout the rest of the season and playoffs, and we're getting all these guys involved as well. We wanted to say thanks to Mr. Blake here, Harris Highlights himself, for letting us give these announcements and trying to make a little bit of a partnership here with Harris Highlights, and we'll be putting the podcast on our website. So what was the website? Sunset Sports?
SunsetSportsNetwork.com.
SunsetSportsNetwork.com.
All the information will be in the description below. Go check them out. Great stuff. Great guys. As always, thank you everyone so much for watching. We greatly appreciate it. This has been a great show. I mean, right, guys? It was a great show.
I say
Yeah.
A great
Had some
show.
fun.
Spencer was here. This was okay.
Yeah.
And before we end it off,
I love you, Spencer.
let's all hope, pray, and best wishes to Florida.
Of course.
Yeah.
If anyone's out there,
All the
stay
East Coast
safe.
as well.
Stay safe.
Stay
Hopefully we can
safe.
provide just some sort of joy in the hard times out there. We're in your thoughts and prayers.
Yeah, and another shout out to anyone in California. They're expecting a pretty big earthquake there within the next, I thought I saw 2 weeks. So hope everyone's safe there. Hope everyone's safe in Florida and wherever everyone else is. And hopefully we can all take some time to watch some good college football this weekend and appreciate what we have. You know?
Yes, sir. But as I mentioned, all of us, we love talking college football. So all of our Twitters are in the bio below.
I
Hit
do
us-
follow back.
For the millionth time Spencer does follow back. Here, take a shot every time Spencer says he follows back.
Oh, we'd
Don't.
all be drunk if we took
Don't.
shots.
You're-
I think
anything
we'd be
Spencer
dead.
says.
We'd be dead. But like I said, we love talking college football. Also, if you can listen on YouTube, the Harris Highlights podcast is now on SoundCloud. So if you're on the way to work and you want to have a little entertainment, put on the show. Or if you're at the gym, pumping iron, getting huge, listen to the show. We're trying to expand as many ways as possible, potentially coming on Spotify and iTunes soon, if I can figure out how to even do that. I have no idea. But once again, we really appreciate the support. 8,400 people watched last week, or listened, or whatever. So
Whatever.
we're greatly appreciative. And until next week, have a great weekend, everyone, and go Devils.
Go Devils. Fight on.